Joy, pump it up in pain. Pump it up, keep it going. Got sunshine and rain. Keep it to him, Rob Bass. One of the best songs hip hop ever made, right? Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, right? So that's what we're talking about. Pain. Is it our greatest teacher? Well, I think back to sometimes with certain things with pain and not necessarily physical pain. We'll talk a little bit about that also, but more how emotional pain spawns growth. So you think about it. One of the worst types of pain you could feel is when a loved one passes away. All right. And, you just have this sense of emptiness. You have this sense of feeling that, wow, I'll never see this person again. And although we know that death is inevitable, it still is always a hard thing to process. It still is one of those things where it feels unfair. It feels like it's just not right because a lot of times, for selfish reasons, we want the person to stay around because, we love them. We're used to them being around. But then at a certain point, although we're still sad, even years after that, we still do find a way to feel good about the person. When we think about them, when we think about the memories, when we talk to other friends or other family members that knew this person and saying, you know what, wow, you know what, that is a good person. That was a great person. And then also too, you start to think sometimes about some of the things that they've put into you that have made you a better person, right? So a certain amount of growth. So where when these things happen, you're still able to go on with your life. You're still able to, and for some people it varies on the amount of time that it takes, but you're able to go on with life. You're able to continue. You're able to do things on levels that you may not have thought that you were able to do them on. Also, when it comes to friends or friendships, and it happens sometimes, right? Sometimes, we lose friends. They're still here on earth, but, we lose friends. And that's okay too, because it doesn't say that they're necessarily a bad person. It doesn't say that you're necessarily a bad person. It just says that, at this particular time, you two are just not good together. But that doesn't mean that it's not painful because it hurts. When you have people that, you've been around, for years, it could be a situation where it was only a 5-year friendship or 10-year friendship, and, you start seeing like, wow, you know what? I remember when I used to call and we would bust it up and talk about this, or we would, do this or do that. And it's because it's always the easiest thing to say, man, you know what, man, F that, man. I ain't worried about that person no more. I ain't worried about them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't worried about me, so I ain't worried about them. Right? That's always the easier thing to say and justify in your mind. And depending on how egregious it was, whatever the reasons you stopped talking, um, you kind of can say that in some situations because I found myself before in life doing that. But, it's also a painful thing. But what it should help you to do is that it should help you to look in yourself and say first, because a lot of times, a lot of us don't do this, is you look inside of yourself and say, hey, look, what problems did I cause as a friend? Where was I negligent as a friend? Sometimes that might not be the case at all, but it's always a good thing to look inside and ask yourself that and say, hey, even as a family member, am I supportive as a family member? Am I aware as a family member as to different things that are going on? Sometimes you're just not. Sometimes because like we all, like most of us, we all got our own things going on, right? And like I hear a lot of times from more importantly, or especially the ladies, I just got a lot going on, right? Right. You always got a lot going on. But hey, listen, that's how a lot of times things are with people, or at least that's the reasoning they'll give you. But it's painful. It's painful and it hurts because, we all need social interaction. We all need somebody. We all need people that we can talk to and bounce things off of. And what happens is that when you lose some of these relationships, it's hurtful. But the beauty about it is that guess what? You still have you. You still have you. You still have you. You still have the opportunity to now, hey, look, maybe you're not on the phone as much anymore. So maybe, like I was saying the other day, you decide to go and start taking up karate. Maybe you don't hang out as much with certain other people anymore. So hey, do yourself a favor. Take a quick trip somewhere. Fly down to Miami, or depending on where you're at, take a couple hour flight, or take a 2 or 3 hour drive, right? And just go do something. And guess what? You don't necessarily need to have somebody with you. You can go do it by yourself. And what that will do is that will show growth. I remember it was times when, especially being younger, I never wanted to go to dinner by myself. It was almost like a weird feeling. Like, you mean to tell me I'm gonna go to this restaurant and just sit here by myself, nobody to talk to? But sometimes that's what you have to do. And I realized, although I don't do it a whole bunch, but I realized doing it wasn't so bad. Even going out back in the day, oh man, I need everybody with me. Where everybody at? What cars we going in? And all this other kind of stuff, right? But as you get older, you realize, like, hey, look, you know what? Sometimes it's better for me just to go out by myself. You want to know why? Because if I'm in the car, if I want to listen to something over and over and over again, I could just keep hitting rewind, playing it over and over again, right? I don't have to do that. If I want to be in the car, I don't want to smell weed smoke or something, I could be in the car by myself and not have to do that. Or if I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. When I want to get to where I'm going and I decide after 5 minutes, you know what? I ain't feeling this tonight. I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. I don't have to wait and ask anybody else, yo, dog, yo, you ready? Or somebody standing over, they're having a good time. So you kind of don't want to mess the groove up, because a lot of times you may have come in the same car, right? So I've learned to do those things by myself. So that's another way of growth, another way to show growth, where you don't always need people to do things that you necessarily want to do. You got to wait for a gathering of people. So that's another way of growth. Another thing of pain, right? And, even from a personal level. So like, for me, I played football and basketball up to about the ninth grade. And, which isn't, which is a long time for me, because I started when I was about 5, 6 years old, even playing football. Shout out to my Uncle Harold, taught me how to play football. But, with that, doing that. And then when I wasn't getting any playing time or couldn't be on a team in ninth grade, and, just different things like that, I felt a sense of rejection. I felt a sense of, pain, because these were things that I really liked to do. These were things like I, religiously watched football and basketball all of the time. These were things that I loved. So there was a sense of pain knowing that it stopped. And the thing where I'm guilty of is that not pushing myself as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old to become better to do these things, right? So see, that's how it works. Like, sometimes if pain stifles you, it doesn't allow you to grow. It doesn't even matter if it's 30 years from when it first started stifling you, right? 40 years from when it first started to stifle you. If you don't grow from pain, you will constantly be in it. There's no way to avoid pain, right? And trust me, take it from people who are 40 years and up. When you wake up sometimes, like I woke up the other day, you know what I mean? And I must have slept on my ear or something like that. I felt like I couldn't hear for half the day. Then the other half of the day, it seemed like it was ringing or something like that, right? So, but the thing is that things just happen. As life goes on, you're going to experience stuff. And lastly, what I'll say is that, like, even as a guy, because, all guys want to feel like they're the man. All guys want to feel like, they're somebody to be respected and revered, right? And, just imagine, once again, the pain of rejection. Oh no, well, you're too short. Oh no, well, you're too fat. oh, well, you, and I'm talking about from women, of course, and maybe not necessarily saying it in that way, but because, you know, it in certain ways, you felt like it was kind of implied, you know what I'm saying? Because they wanted the skinny guy or the skinnier guy. Now, I know. There's some of y'all out there, oh, I love me a big man. I loves me a big guy. And that's cool, right? But the thing is that me looking at it, I was like, because we all got our own arrogance about us, right? And I was like, okay, well, I'm cool enough, I'm dope enough, I'm decent enough. But then I thought about it, and I said, hey, listen, because a lot of us don't do this. What about all of the wins, right? What about all of the wins, all of those prior rejections that turned into wins? Of sometimes women saying, no, I'm cool, I'm good, because in Philly, anybody let you know, Philly, we got some of the prettiest, hardest women as far as, they're tough, right? So, but yeah, I'm good, I'm cool. And me processing that, but guess what? If I would have never taken the opportunity, built up some more heart through the pain to become a better version of myself, I would have never talked to anybody. That wouldn't have worked, right? I wouldn't have talked to anybody. I went through high school, college, jobs, all this other kind of stuff without talking to anybody. But it's funny what pain will do to you. It'll make you have to, if you're a smart person, which most of us are, it'll make you reevaluate. It'll make you sometimes restructure the way you do things, the way you have to decide how to do them, right? Because like I said before, if you don't find a way to deal in the pain, you'll always be in it. And come on, let's be honest. Who wants to always be in pain? Right? So even with physical pain, we get into it. Sometimes you'll feel a certain whatever, or like me, you've been in an accident, and so your leg is throbbing or whatever is hurting, and all of that other kind of stuff. But still, I have hope. Just like other people who have been in a debilitating situation, that they will get better because we've all experienced pain. So, hey, think about it. Pain is one of those things that we can't avoid, right? Can't avoid pain. But what you can do is that you can grow from the pain. And when you realize that you can grow from it, it's a feeling of, like taking back something, right? Taking back something. Because like I'm telling you, I don't care how I feel. Like, nobody can tell me nothing, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, you reject me, you got to reject me. Cool. All right, that's cool. It's just part of the game. Like any of my friends will tell you, look, listen, even if you get numbers and they wind up not working out, look, I only got, I'm going to reach out to you 2 times, right? You're not even going to get a 3rd strike. I'm going to reach out to you twice. If I don't feel the energy coming back, we out of here, right? That's growth. Where at one point, I wouldn't ask for the number at all. But hey, hope what I said made any sense to you. So until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.